Thanks for coming back. We're on step 5, the piston. I'm going to use this size tube here to make the piston. Not the smoothest fit there, so we might have to work on that a bit. This will go inside the piston. What we'll do is we'll drill a small hole through it on the top. That's where it'll link to the connecting shaft. So one of the things I had some issues with in a test run with a different piston that I had made for a different engine, it was sticking a little bit. So what we're going to do with the rotary tool is just the buffing end, just kind of buff out the inside a little bit. Get any residue that was left on the inside of the tube out. Don't touch it after doing that, it gets pretty hot. Right. Initially what we're going to do, we're going to cut this at about 1 inch for a piston. And this we're going to do 1/4 inch longer than that. We'll do 1 1/4 inch. 1 1/4. Alright, I've cut the pieces. Piston at 1 inch. This is a little more than 1 1/4 inch. I actually drilled the hole out first. Don't know if you can see it or not on the video. It's right about there. So that's 1 1/4 inch to the hole. So it's a hair longer. I drilled out the hole first. That'll nest inside of the piston like so. So we're gonna basically put a solder plug in the end to make the piston. So for doing that, I'm going to tin the end of this rod a little bit and tin the inside a little bit of the piston, and we'll make our plug. Alright, the tinning that I was going to do, it didn't go so well, so I'm really just going to score the inside here, the tube, a little bit. Got a little solder on the end of the tube that's going inside of it. I'll score that a little bit too. Alright, so that'll go in there. I'll make a couple supports to go on the sides to help keep it centered. And I'm going to cut off a few chunks of this to melt inside of it. Okay. Basically cutting off a few chunks of solder to drop in. Burner's on, so she's heating up. Alright, this is the tricky part. The solder is melted. We want to place the middle tube in. It never stands up. You need to be very careful. Okay. Coming from the side like so. A little twitchy tonight. In my best interest now, is it? Effort. Once everything is thoroughly cooled, take her out, and we have our piston. A little off center, but it should work fine. Just wanted to take a moment to talk about the piston, how it fits the engine here. It's not a perfect airtight seal. As you can see, it slowly slides in. It's more important that it freely moves. I mean, you do want a good seal. It should bounce like this with your finger with the air inside. But it's better to have a little air loss than to have a tight fit that has way too much friction. So if you're close, but it just sticks a little bit, you can kind of work the sides with a piece of steel wool up and down to smooth things out a little bit. Make sure not to put it in with the steel wool dust on it. That'll jam it up too. So put it in there. Just keep testing it. In fact, that's even better. So a nice free moving piston. For some reason I seem to drop them when I'm making them. That warps the tube a little bit, and you know, if you run into that, you may end up having to remake it if it's bent or warped. That's it for making the piston. Next we're going to be looking at making the crankshaft and then the connecting components to operate the engine. Thank you.